Hi, beautiful. So, listen, this is part two of narcissist and accountability and why they do not coexist. All right. So, once you realize that accountability and narcissism doesn't coexist, healing starts to look very different. All right. So, I will be reading my notes. Um, so, number one, you stop explaining yourself. Healing looks like no longer explaining your pain to someone who benefits from denying it. You stop trying to be understood by someone who has already decided to not understand you. You release the need for an apology because I know a lot of us who have dealt with a narcissist or who are currently dealing with a narcissist, anytime they do something that is just, beyond you, you do wait for that apology. You do wait for them to admit that they were wrong. And it's just something that's never going to happen. And even if they decide to apologize, it's still because it's a part of them or something they're trying to gain, whether it's to stop you from leaving or to make you come back or whatever, but it's never genuine. Okay? But healing doesn't come from their apology because that apology was never coming. It comes from realizing you don't need their admission to validate your experience. You stop taking the bait, all right? Healing looks like not engaging when they try to provoke guilt, defensiveness, or chaos. You recognize the patterns and instead of reacting, you detach. Okay? And that is the most important thing that you can ever do when you are dealing with a narcissist, especially after leaving them. You have to detach from the situation, detach from the relationship, detach. You rebuild trust with yourself. This is the most important part. Healing is rebuilding trust with yourself, trusting that what you felt was real, trusting that your boundaries were necessary, trusting that leaving was not a failure. You also choose peace over being right. Healing is choosing peace over proving your point. You realize you don't need to win an argument with someone who lives in delusion. The moment you stop waiting for accountability from a narcissist is the moment you take your power back. Healing doesn't mean they change. It means you no longer need them to. All right, beautiful? So if you've been, waiting for their apology, waiting for them to admit that they were wrong, you know, before you can finally move on, before you can finally find closure, it's going to be something that you're going to be waiting for a while, forever. So the best thing that you can do in this moment to really, get to a space of healing is to accept the fact that you won't receive that apology. That accountability will never show up. And you have to be okay with that. Because when you become okay with that, that's when you're able to move on. But constantly trying to prove yourself or prove them wrong, it only puts you in a space of stress and anxiety and feeling stuck. But when you accept the fact that, okay, you know what? I'm not going to get the apology that I deserve. They're never going to admit what they did was wrong. And I'm okay with that. This is my opportunity now that I am free to move on and be free and create the life that you truly desire without this narcissist in your life. I love you, beautiful. And remember, healing begins when you can accept that a narcissist and accountability cannot coexist. I love you. And remember to keep that crown straight, my love.